Hey everyone, and welcome back to the Executive Elevation Engine Workshop. If you're brand new here, this is a 6-series course for a workshop on developing new leaders and also helping current leaders become that much more effective in their roles. Today, we're going to be discussing Pillar 3, which is decision intelligence and execution discipline. For those of you who are brand new here, I highly suggest that you go back and watch Pillar 1 and Pillar 2 videos because those are the essential building blocks in order for you to complete this course. So that'll be very helpful for you guys to go back and watch those first and then come over here. And for those of you who are looking to implement these strategies and need help, go ahead and click on that link down below. That takes you directly to my website and we can schedule a time for me to figure out how I can help you and support to grow your company and your organization in a much more effective way. With that being said, guys, let's go ahead and get started. So today we are going to be discussing a couple of things when it comes to Pillar 3. The agenda is as follows. We're going to be talking about why leadership stalls and the hidden cost of indecision. And then we'll move over to the decision intelligence framework. We'll then move over to from decision to execution. How does that look like? We'll go over to turning decision velocity into enterprise value, very important. And lastly, we will end things off with the actionable leadership playbook. So first off, guys, we have to discuss why leadership stalls. So based off of some research that McKinsey has done, 61% of executives admit to slow or unclear decisions have costed them growth opportunities. Now, this is part of a compounding effect that goes into play. And the thing is that when your team from the highest level is not at understanding or unclear of what needs to get done, you're not going to know what the next action step is. Now, this indecision has led to over 12 to 20% annually of productivity being missed. And this includes in revenue overall or just not knowing where the next steps are. And as you go through this indecision, guys, each week of indecision has resulted in delayed alignment, has resulted in unclear ownership, and it's creating an organizational drag that's getting deeper and deeper. It's to be costing you a lot of time and efforts to bring back. And what does indecision really cost? It costs the speed of you going to market, because in certain organizations, certain industries, speed is what matters to get to the market. Confidence of you as a leader or your teams is not going to be there, and it's also going to lead to not having that competitive edge. And this is the overall part of the compounding effect of indecision. As you can see on the right side, right? It starts from the indecision that leads to execution delay. That leads to productivity loss, and then overall that leads to your market share decline, which in turn is making you lose money, which is what we do not want. So you may ask, all right, Faraz, so how do we go about this now that we know the problem? So we want to talk about the decision intelligence framework. Now this is talking about speed, quality, and accountability. What does speed mean in here? Now, there's certain types of aspects of speed here. Now there's one, which you don't want to do is just be as quick as possible without having the rest, the quality and accountability here. These all tied in together. So speed essentially is understanding the timing of the market, understanding your market alignment. What is your customers, your clients looking for? Then we move over to quality. Quality of the work is also ensuring that you have clarity. Your team has clear expectations and understandings of the outcomes that they're supposed to be looking forward towards. That leads to accountability. Understanding that, okay, what is being delivered at what rate with what quality, and holding that standard and building a repeatable process. That allows you to actually have measurable results that can provide you overall value for your decision intelligence within your organization. Combining all three, speed, quality, and accountability will allow you to actually have a tangible strategic follow-through process that you can literally implement and have an ongoing repeated cycle overall in this framework here. And so we move over to the next part here. So now that we understand the decisions of how to make them, how to go about them, how do we transition into the execution portion of this? So there's 5 steps of execution discipline. There's define, assign, decide, execute, and review. We'll start with define. What does define mean? Defining is essentially defining what the clarity of what the problem is or what task you have at hand, why, and the impact before your action, your execution of actually getting through the work here. Essentially having clarity of intent. What does assign mean? Assign is having the right people own this product, this service, whatever you're selling to your customers or delivering. You have identified who is going to be the decision makers, who is doing the operational work, and who is measuring success. Then we have the decide. Decide with speed. Now, this is probably one of my most important pieces here, right? Most people, many people are trying to be perfectionists, but understand 80% is better than being 100% and late. You know, you can always get to market when you're 80% there and refine and repeat your process based off of how the market reacts to it, instead of trying to be 100% and never getting there. And then we move over to execute. Execute with discipline means you have clarity of your decisions, you have milestones set, and you have measurable outcomes. Again, can be on a weekly basis based off of certain companies that may be using sprints in an agile way. But this is very important to actually have the execution plan already in motion, but you're also having measurable results that come along with it. And lastly, when we put all these steps together, you have a review phase. Review and reinforce. This is your feedback loop. This is very important. This is where many organizations miss out on the opportunity to not only learn from your mistakes, but also learn from what is going well. Guys, you have to go back and understand every single thing. Review your sales calls, review your customer success, review your operational aspects, review your post customer success, and understand how your customers are adhering to what you have delivered, because that will give you much more improvement for your next phase, your next service level, your next version of the product. So now that we understand how do we go from decision to execution discipline, we look at, okay, how can we turn this into a overall enterprise value? Now there's 3 types of ROIs, return of investments. You've got your operational ROI, which is your time to decision. You've got your tactical ROI, which is your execution efficiency. And you've got your strategic ROI, which is your risk and your agility leverage. So operational side. So compressing the time to decision, because each week that you saved on not being indecisive compounds to more revenue and also eliminating that indecision tax. How can we monetize this? Monetize that delay. Build together of a formula, which I put here, right? You have revenue times the days that you have deferred, the days of delay, the days that you have not made a decision, and that gives you a value on what you're missing out on. And if it's in your control, you want to change that. You want to change these aspects and see what roadblocks are in place, because that dollar amount is only going to go up from there. And your goal is, how can we stop it from going any further and causing more delays? And then we put it all together at an enterprise level for all executives here. So if you have a P&L, profit and loss statements, right? You have to have your checkpoints that are going to be 30, 60, 90-day checkpoints on your delays. What is the cause for delays? Are you being delayed because you don't have enough people? You don't have the right resources? Your customers are not providing your invoices on time? Figure out what those are within every single checkpoint. And this goes back to the last slide for review and reinforce. You must have a concrete plan in place to review these concepts over and over and over again and get better to have continuous improvement. And lastly, you have to make accountability visible. This is probably the biggest issue that I have seen in many organizations, is that no one knows who is owning what, right? We don't have a proper owner. You talk to one person and they may say, this person owns it. You talk to that person, they say, I don't even know what I'm doing. Like, I don't even know about this process here. So you have to track who is owning this, what are the due dates, what are the SLAs, and have that in an executive dashboard view. This is so important to have a single glass pane, to have a view of how things are moving. Now, many of you that may be watching, you may either not be a leader yet, or maybe you are a leader. And let's say you are in a C-suite level executives or within that range, you can have different executive dashboards, right? You can have a CFO, COO, CTO, CIO, CISO, and the list goes on. But you have to have some kind of single glass pane look that you can overall quickly look at it on a daily basis or weekly basis. That way you as a leader have continuous checkpoints going on and you can mitigate any risks that are there that could possibly happen. That's the strategic ROI that you want to be focusing on, is mitigating risk overall for the enterprise. So now that we have the enterprise value into this place, now to all my future leaders and current leaders, what are the actions that we can actually put in place today and implement these to have a continuous growing improvement for our organization? So we first start off with leading with clarity. This is very important. You have to lead with clarity from the top down for your entire organization. Your decisions have to be based off your long-term vision. What is that pinnacle? What you guys are chasing after, what you're working towards. Don't let any ambiguity be in place. You have to eliminate that at all costs, and also make sure that all of the work that is being done is aligning to that top approach there. Then we move over to execute with discipline. To ensure that job or the service or the task at hand gets completed, we have to make sure that the focus is in place. Now, this could include weekly alignments, weekly meetings with your teams, monthly accountability, very important, especially when it comes to P&Ls, ensuring that your sales are on point, reviewing those sales, reviewing those calls, reviewing what the work that's being done, because that is allowing no drift to happen. Because if there is any drift happening and you have these processes, these playbooks in place, you can catch that drift quick enough. But if you don't have these in place, this drift is just going to be going from +1, +2, so on, so forth. And that's going to cause a lot more delays and a lot more cost that's going to come to your organization. Then we can talk about measuring what matters. So the goal is, how do we quantify the ROI on decision making? Because the thing is that when you track everything, like I said in the last slide, your executive dashboard is going to allow you to measure what truly matters: your revenues, your speed, your enterprise value, the valuation of your entire company. Especially to all my startup folks, it's very important. A lot of us want to be a unicorn company. We all want to have the large ARR number, but if you're not measuring those aspects, you're going to be losing out on a lot of value for your company. And that's very important. You can have the best product, you can have the best service in place, but if you're not measuring everything to the T, you're not allowing yourself to either save money or even increase your revenue overall. And lastly, reinforce accountability. Ensure that a lot of folks that are working with you, working on the team, your organization, they understand what they're supposed to be doing, who is owning this, when this is going to be due, and also provide performance coaching. I think it's very important for a lot of leaders just not to be leaders that are hands-off, but also be hands-on people leaders. That is what makes successful leaders in their organization. Because the thing is that everybody is different. Every single employee will be different, and they have different thinkings, different personas. Your job as a leader is to jump in and coach these individuals to bring out the best value that they can possibly bring overall for the company. Because everybody can bring the best value, but they have to understand where those things come out from, and it's your responsibility as a leader to go ahead and make that happen. So with that being said, guys, that is the end of Pillar 3 of decision intelligence and execution discipline. In this series here, you have learned about transforming leadership speed into actual enterprise value. If you found this to be helpful, I do ask that you go ahead and click a like on this video. You also share this with your team, your companies, your organizations, your friends, your families who are aspiring to be a leader or who are already a leader, because this value here can help both sides no matter what. And if you're looking for implementing these strategies in your organization, I have 10 plus years of experience implementing exactly these strategies that I'm going over, that I'm giving to you guys all here. Go ahead and click on that first link down below, schedule some time with me, and we can talk about how we can grow your company and remove any indecision that goes in place. With that being said, guys, thank you all for watching, and I will catch you guys on Pillar 4. Take care.